Diddy is reportedly experiencing a nervous breakdown after being attacked in prison and is allegedly being targeted due to the sensitive information he holds on others. There are growing reports that influential figures in Hollywood and the music industry are working to silence him, fearing the potential revelations he could make.
This isn't the first time Diddy's mental health has come into question while he's been at MDC. When he first arrived, he was on suicide watch, which the U.S. Department of Justice National Institute of Corrections describes as supervisory precautions taken for suicidal inmates that require frequent observation. Diddy's suicide watch was only temporary, though. He was housed in a special protective unit of the jail after that for the first few weeks of his stay. But Diddy right now is in Gen Pop, meaning general population, the place where majority of the inmates stay.
Following Jay-Z, Jennifer Lopez has now been named as both a witness and co-conspirator in the case against Diddy. A new lawsuit has been filed, alleging that J-Lo was involved in covering up a crime. The victim claims that J-Lo was aware of Diddy's actions and that he even showed her tapes of the crimes when they were dating in the late 90s. Once this case goes to trial, J-Lo will be required to testify against Diddy, and it remains uncertain what she might reveal. According to Cardello Smith's filing, the notice states that
Cardello Smith writes that he wants to call Officer Derek Palmer as a witness because he says Palmer is the one who questioned Lopez and believes that he will have testimony that could help his case. As I mentioned, Diddy's legal team has called for this entire case to be thrown out. Cardello Smith has filed a massive response to that request that totaled more than 200 pages. Probably half of it was just straight up copies of case law that seems to support his arguments word for word. It's something out of like a legal textbook. There's so much to slog through, but I kind of want to give you some of the highlights. So first, in addition to the claims of rape and a cover-up, Cardello Smith also claims and alleges that Combs was violent towards his loved ones. At times, Cardello Smith addresses alleged threats against his family. Other times, he says Combs actually caused serious injuries to his brother.
with high-profile figures like J-Lo, Jay-Z, and Beyoncé now linked to Diddy, other powerful individuals are becoming increasingly concerned about how this case could impact them. These are the same people who were involved in the aftermath of Epstein's death before he could testify. Now, rumors are circulating that Diddy might be suicidal as well. Is it merely a coincidence that as more people are connected to Diddy, he's being attacked in prison and reportedly having a nervous breakdown? The timing raises many questions.
If you knew Diddy personally, do you think it's possible he might take his life?
It takes a certain individual to prepare himself to do a lot of years in jail. From the lifestyle that he had, I'm not saying that he can't. I just don't see him able to do time behind bars. Maybe if he'd be in a camp type situation, that's a possibility. But based on the lifestyle and what he's done and what he's accomplished, if he had to go behind those bars for a lot of years, I think that he may commit suicide. He'd do an Epstein.
Why do you think he didn't pull a Russell Simmons and leave the country?
They was watching him, bruh.
Diddy is aware that his safety in prison is at risk, especially if the people he was associated with start to believe he's cooperating with the authorities. In an attempt to secure his release, Diddy's team offered over $50 million and even presented his passport to the court, but the judge denied the request. The judge cited Diddy's history of threatening victims and expressed concerns that if he were released, there was a significant risk he might harm key witnesses.
The proposed bail package, a $50 million bond, co-signed by him, his mom, and his sister, the mother of his oldest daughter, and his 3 adult sons. It's going to be secured by the equity in his property in Miami, Florida. Home detention, his passport will be surrendered. The government said that's insufficient. They said, look at the charges, look at the weight of the evidence that I just mentioned. They said they have allegations that he and his associates were trying to tamper with witness testimony last year so that they wouldn't cooperate with the government.
Diddy's attorney Mark Anapo stated in a press conference that they plan to seek bail once again. He also suggested that the jail environment isn't safe for Diddy and proposed house arrest as a better alternative. Additionally, allegations surrounding Diddy's reputation as a P&S raise concerns about his safety in jail, where individuals with such accusations often face significant risks. Currently, Diddy is not in the general population, but has been placed in solitary confinement for his protection.
Appeal to Judge Carter. It did not go our way. The fight continues. giving up by a long shot. I told Mr. Combs I'm going to try and get his case to trial as quickly as possible. I'm going to try and minimize the amount of time he spends in very, very difficult and I believe inhumane housing conditions in the special housing unit of the Metropolitan Detention Facility. And I'm going to do everything that I can to move his case as quickly as possible. I understand that the government has a great amount of electronic devices that they have to download and provide to me, but everything's on the government's timetable, nothing's on the defendant's timetable, and they're going to have to accommodate me and him and give us a quick trial, and I'm going to be pushing for that. He's ready, he's focused, he has been ready to defend this case since he first found out about this case. Nothing has changed from his perspective. I obviously would much prefer to fight this case with him out of jail, and we are going to try to bring that about through additional legal process. But wherever he is, his resolve is the same. He believes he's innocent. I believe he's innocent, and we're going to fight this case with all of our might until we don't have to fight any longer.
Sources close to Diddy believe he may be granted bail soon, as he's reportedly pulling every string possible. It's also worth noting that Diddy is close friends with Eric Adams, the mayor of New York. Just a month before his arrest, Diddy was even awarded the key to the city. This raises questions about whether Mayor Adams was aware of the ongoing investigation against Diddy, but still chose to present the honor as a way to rehabilitate his image.
The prosecutor presented that the judge was going to allow him to be bonded out on the first get-go. Now, if he comes up with some more hearings, he might be released. But based on the evidence, they've been following him, bro. They've been tapping his phone, been having people watch him. You understand? He been coming back and forth from New York, and he'll usually be coming back to New York. And somebody was telling me that, yo, listen here, he trying to get witnesses. Remember when they released that first thing of Cassie, and I said that Diddy was trying to contact people for character witnesses, people for who he had problems with before, whatever like that, and trying to talk to them in the whole 9 yards. That's when they dropped that thing with Cassie. The Homeland Security had some agency or whatever like that that deals with that, dropped that thing on Cassie to show everybody, oh, y'all want to help him?
In a recent episode of the PBD podcast, Fox News host Jesse Waters disclosed that Fox News had received intelligence suggesting that Diddy might be set up to take the fall. It's worth noting that Diddy has ties to some of the most influential figures in the country. If Diddy were to speak out, it could potentially lead to serious consequences for many of these individuals, possibly even jail time.
Now you're wondering why I'm saying that. See, they are trying to use some of the things that happen to criminals all the time, or inmates all the time. They always, brother, they always do those impromptu searches. And in one of the cases, in this particular case, they said that when they did the impromptu search, they took some of his legal information, and the judge ordered them to give that back. So I guess the lawyers are going to come up with a couple of new things saying that he can't properly, have his case.
Diddy is back under watch due to threats against his life, and it seems like only a matter of time before something significant happens. Just a few months ago, he was reportedly paying other inmates to do his chores, and now he's complaining about being targeted by them? The situation raises questions and doesn't seem to add up.
And these people, a lot of these people were also aspiring young artists in the music industry, and then these parties were sponsored by Motown Records CEO, Universal Records CEO. This goes all the way to the top. And so you get these people in compromising situations. The drinks were laced, the videotapes were hot, and then at the end of the day, you wake up the next morning, oh, what did I do? And then they have compromising material on you. And then they can guide your career, they could kill your career, but they got you. And it wasn't just people in the music business. As you said, there were athletes, there were celebrities, there were politicians, people from the royal family. And we were also told by the former bodyguard that Diddy was an FBI informant. So he was a snitch and was feeding information to the feds. And we don't know what that means. We haven't been able to confirm it, but even Little Rod said it's not just like Epstein, it could be worse.
Stay updated with the latest celebrity news by subscribing to our channel. Don't miss out on exclusive updates, trending headlines, and in-depth coverage. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay in the know.